everybody, welcome to today's video, which is going to be showing you how to build a massive Minecraft cactus farm that is fully automated, and this is across multiple chunks. Now before we get into this video, please drop a like and please don't forget to subscribe, and let me know in the comments section which farms you like to build in Minecraft. Now before I show you how to build this farm, this is just an example of one of my many farms. As you can see, I've not actually finished it yet, but this goes across so many chunks. And this is going to be the method that we're going to show you today how to build. So the items that we're going to use to build this automated cactus farm includes a bucket of water. I do recommend having multiple of these. As many chests as you like to sort out your sorting system, as many hoppers as you would chests for your system, any block, and this is completely optional, so this I'm just going to use dirt, but you can use glass, stone, whatever you wish. Ice is optional in combination with the water bucket. A spruce sign is also optional depending if you're going to do the ice method. Some cactus, some sand, a slab of your choice. I just find birch goes really nice with sand. And a fence of your choice. I just really like the spruce wood. I think it looks good together. So the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and get your chunk borders up. Now this is a chunk, everything within the blue box. If I just scroll over here, you'll notice this automatically takes me into a second chunk. So I've seen cactus farms which are 10 by 10 chunks or even bigger to the sky high to give you a reference of how big of a cactus farm you can make. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is I like to make a border just on the outside of the chunk that I want to work on, so that I know exactly what I'm working with. And I like to do this even when I'm building a huge farm, and I'm going to show you how we expand it in a moment. This just makes it visually easier to work with. So you should end up with something like this, a block of your choice all the way around the border. Now I am just going to hide my chunk borders. As you can see, I had a slight technical issue, but I've just hidden my chunk borders like this, and now I'm gonna fill this in. So you need to decide where you want your hopper system to go. So I'm gonna place my hopper system somewhere by here for reference. So I'm gonna start my water over here. Again, you should probably make an infinite water supply, which is a 4x4 block, and then a water there and a water there, and you have infinite water. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that dirt outline and the water will start to flow. On the second block, you'll notice it's like half there. That indicates that this hasn't had a water source yet, so you need to go ahead and fill in the entire row with water. Now, if you've done it correctly, you should end up with something like this. And to test this works, all you're going to do is drop your cactus, and you'll notice it flows down quite nicely. Now, the second step is along here, because this is going to be a giant cactus farm. So with this method, I personally am going to use the water supply system, but I'm just going to show you quickly how it would work if you wanted to use ice. With ice, you're going to supply the ice, and then you're also going to get a sign. So let me just grab a sign really quickly. Like this. You're going to place the sign on your block, and then you're going to crouch and just click on the sign again like that. And you're going to repeat that process all the way along. And this uses the ice. So what would happen then is you would flow this down, and it would hit here like this. So it would be like this, and then we'd just do the same and build our water going along here. However, I am going to use an alternative method, which is just water bucket again. Really useful if you are limited on supplies the first time you're building this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just pop a sand block in here for a second. And I'm going to build 8 back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That takes you to the very end of your chunk border. And all I'm going to do is place the water, and you can see this stops exactly here where our chunk ends. So I'm quickly just going to go ahead and take that water back out for a second. And then I'm going to go ahead and dig this chunk out. So it should now look something like this. Exactly the same as before. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this with water all the way along. And we should end up with something like this. Just to test our theory, you throw the cactus and it starts to flow down. Now you can imagine as we expand into more and more chunks, this is going to work really nice. Now the final thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set up my sorting system so that as I'm building this farm, I'm automatically going to begin collecting the cactus that I want. So we're now into our second chunk, which is where my hopper system is actually going to be set up. And I'm just going to use water for this. So I'm going to press the chunk either side and you'll notice it looks like this. Now when I throw the cactus, it gets pushed down to sort of like the dead water area, I call it, which is this here. So you'll notice it's where the two water chunks join. And that's exactly where I'm going to set up my hopper system, like so. Now, please bear in mind that I am using sand for this. And when you break the sand, let's just say it gets messy. So I'm quickly just going to go ahead and put some dirt blocks there. So as I build underneath this, everything will be fine. The dirt is where my hoppers are going to be, so my chests are going to be directly below it, like this. Like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and get my hoppers, and this part you want to be able to crouch down and press the hopper onto the chest so that the hopper's looking into the chest, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill this back up so that we don't lose any cactus for the time being. Now to test our theory out, I'm going to go ahead and do it in the corner so you can see exactly how this works. Push down, scooped up by the hoppers, and then it ends up in the chest. So you can start at whatever height you wish to do. So for example, you may want to start your farm off here, really close to the water, as an example. Now, what I'm going to do is I like to build like this. It's worth noting, if I build my first set of cactus along here like this, it's going to drop off into the second chunk. And right now, I've not set the water up for that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to start off here, which is where the cactus can fall into this side of the water or this side of the water. Go ahead and start dragging this all the way across. Again, I'm going to stop here because I don't want the cactus to lose. I'm going to come 2 out and then I'm going to simply come back on myself. And we're going to repeat this all the way along. So 2 out and then back on ourselves. And we should end up with a weird looking pattern like this. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to place sand on every other block like this. You'll notice that I can't place it here, but as I expand into that claim is when we're going to be able to collect our sand. So I'm going to place exactly the same pattern here. Now I know some people like to place in a weird pattern. However, you actually lose cactus if you do it like that, because the way that your fences work is that it will end up falling, and it's just don't do it that way. So fill this out with some sand. Once this is filled out, go ahead and place your cactus on top of each sand block. And now you should end up with something like this. The final step is to break all the planks that are not currently got sand and cactus on them. Make sure that you check the sides and break off. You should now end up with your very first layer of a cactus farm. However, this is not quite set up to be automated. So the way that I like to set up my automated farm is just add a second layer of cactus to the back row, and then go ahead and select a fence on each one like this. So when the cactus grows, it automatically breaks. Now this fence is actually going to work for this cactus and this cactus. So there's no need to apply a fence here, because what we'll do is we'll then grow our cactus on this row, and we'll apply our fence here so that it impacts this one and this one. You're then going to repeat this process for the remainder of the farm. So we're not going to put our fences in here, but we're going to put our fences in here. And now you should end up with your very first layer complete. And that is exactly what you need to build a farm. I'm now going to show you how to add a second layer to your farm and the most efficient way to do this. So I'm going to start from the back, and again I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to place a dirt block here like this on top of the fence. And then I'm going to take my plank and I'm just going to place it there like that. So you have enough to grow, and then we can build again. Now some people may wish to do it like this for more space, and that's completely your choice too. I'm going to go ahead and stick with it like this. I'm going to do the same thing again. So I'm going to go ahead and build my weird looking zig shaped pattern of planks. And we should now end up with something like this. Last step is go ahead and add your sand. It has to match exactly the same pattern as below, so that all of the cactus flows down in the exact same pattern. Place your cactus on top of each sand, and then break each slab. Making sure that you break the sides, and you should end up with something looking like this. The last step is you want to place your fences in the exact same pattern as the first layer. So again, adding your second layer of cactus and then just quickly add in a fence on top. And that is your automated cactus farm. Now what you can do to enhance this is you can build as many layers as you like, or you could begin by expanding into your next chunk. Now just to explain how expanding works is I'm just going to expand into this chunk here. Now remember that this one is actually one block down like this. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to build one block down. I'm not going to break this particular sand block here because the water's going to flood in. So we're just going to leave that for a second. I am, however, going to go ahead and get my chunk borders just so I can see where the chunk ends. And it should look like this. Exactly the same as last time. Go ahead and fill this in with water. And now we should look like this. And then you can go ahead and break these sand blocks. Except this time around, we're actually going to use ice for this particular block. So what we're going to do is we're going to break this and we're going to place some ice. We're going to get our signpost back like this. And then I'm just going to go ahead, crouch down like this. And then the same thing again. We're going to go 8 blocks back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go ahead, place some ice. For a second, I'm just quickly going to place some water. You'll notice it passes through like that. Get our ice. Get our signposts. And then you would do the same thing over and over again. Now to show you how this works, as the cactus drops, it flows down, it gets passed through the ice, and it ends up in your collection system. So that is pretty much how you would do it. You would then just expand this farm in the same way, following the same pattern. So bringing these out like this, filling them with sand, and so on. I have been waiting over 10 minutes for it to stop raining in Minecraft, and it just has not stopped. So I'm going to do a rainy outro, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Please drop a comment right now and let me know how you build your cactus farms. Don't forget to subscribe and please drop a like on this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.